In 1978, a small copper coin moved quietly through South Africa, passed from one hand to another without anyone stopping to look twice. It was the 1-cent coin, light in weight, simple in design, and seemingly insignificant. People used it to round off purchases, to receive change they barely cared about, or to drop into jars at home. No one imagined that this tiny piece of metal would one day spark curiosity, debate, and obsession among collectors around the world. At the time, South Africa was facing economic pressure, political tension, and social change. Money moved fast, and the 1-cent coin played its role in everyday survival. Bread, milk, newspapers, and public transport all depended on small denominations. This coin represented accessibility, the ability for ordinary people to trade, buy, and live one day at a time. It was not designed to be admired. It was designed to be used. The coin's surface carried the marks of its era. The national symbols reflected authority and identity, pressed firmly into copper. The year 1978 sat quietly on its face, unnoticed by most, yet critical to its story. Millions were minted, flooding the economy, clinking endlessly in pockets and tills. Children played with them. Shopkeepers counted them. Workers earned them. And just as quickly, many disappeared. As years passed, inflation began to erase the coin's purpose. What once held value slowly became impractical. Prices rose, and the 1-cent could no longer buy anything meaningful. People stopped accepting it with interest. Some left it behind on counters. Others threw it away or stored it in forgotten drawers. Eventually, it vanished from daily circulation, officially removed from use, fading into the background of history. But history has a way of circling back. Decades later, collectors began to look again. Not at what the coin could buy, but at what it represented. Surviving examples, especially those in untouched condition, became harder to find. Most had been scratched, worn smooth, or damaged through years of use. Clean, original pieces told a different story. They showed sharp details, bold lettering, and a preserved snapshot of the past. The 1978 South Africa 1-cent coin became more than currency. It became evidence of endurance. It survived economic shifts, political change, and the slow disappearance of low-value money. Each remaining coin carried silent proof that it had lived through a moment in time that would never repeat. Collectors understand something most people don't. Rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes it is about survival. When millions exist, but only a handful remain untouched, value begins to grow. Condition becomes everything. One tiny flaw can separate an ordinary coin from an extraordinary one. Stories began circulating about rare specimens, misstrikes, pristine conditions, and private collections. Interest grew. Demand followed. Prices climbed. What once sat ignored at the bottom of a pocket became something people searched for, studied under magnification, and stored carefully in protective cases. The fascination is not just about money. It is about time. Holding the coin means holding 1978 in your hand. It means touching an object that witnessed history without changing itself. No screens, no updates, no replacement, just metal and memory. In today's digital world, physical currency is disappearing. Coins like this feel heavier now, not because of their weight, but because of what they represent. They remind people of a slower world, one where value could be felt, counted, and heard as it dropped onto a counter. That is why viewers stop watching. That is why collectors keep searching. That is why one small copper coin can command attention far beyond its size. Because it proves that even the most ordinary object can become extraordinary with time. And in the highest levels of private sales, legend-worthy condition, and extreme collector demand, the value attached to this forgotten piece of history has reached numbers that feel unreal. $27 million.